Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. Thank you guys for joining me today. We are going to be talking about, this is going to be a very difficult conversation, my friends. This is probably going to be one of the most challenging conversations that we have had to have. And it is in regards to expectations. Expectations that you put on yourself, and how they can literally, these expectations can literally destroy your life if you're not aware of them. Let's talk about it. Okay, guys, so expectations. This is going to be a difficult conversation because everyone has a different life, right? We're all living a different life. There's no one way to do things. That's part of the point. But what you need to understand is that we all have a bit of expectation on our shoulders, for what we want to achieve in life. And especially for what others want to achieve, want us to achieve in life. And that's more of what we're going to talk about right now. When you were younger, when you got brought up by your parents or whoever brought you up, they had an expectation of you. And they also had a set of rules that they lived by. And these set of rules were formed by their past, right? So they weren't starting from a clean sheet either. And they were just passing on as best information as they could to you from their past and what their expectations were of their life. You need to understand that your past is formed by other people's pasts, right? So you're born. You come out fresh, brand new, with a clean slate in your brain of things to learn and things to do. The only thing that you have to reference is your parents, your people who brought you up, your friends, the people who you hang around with the most. That is where your baseline is drawn, right? So that is your expectations growing up, and how you learn is from other people, potentially from school, and the situations that you're in, right? And the problem with that is that you're not fully yourself. Okay, you can only learn from other people that you learn from, and that's it. I mean, if you don't read books, and the world's a different place now. So if you're not reading books, if you're not on YouTube, being curious about things and figuring out why you do things, you should start doing that, because that is where your life starts to become your own. So, when you're talking about expectations, have you ever wondered why sometimes you make decisions unconsciously? Or maybe you've got yourself in a bad situation and you've never really understood why. There's always been that little bit in your head of like, why am I in this situation right now? Why did my partner leave me after 5 years? Why do I go and buy things that I don't need? And then I wonder why I have no money at the end of the month or end of the week. Why do my kids hate me? Why do I not go on more holidays? Why, like, what do you should be asking yourself questions every single day, because that is the only way that you're going to fully get through these expectations and figure out who you are as a person. Because when it comes to expectations, right, you only know what you know. And if you're living off other people's expectations, like, I've got to get married, I've got to have an expensive car, I've got to have a big house, I've got to have this because other people have this sort of stuff, and you're doing this unconsciously without thinking about your situation, like you and your money and your funds and your job and your family and your expenses, and what it's beneficial for you. If you're just like, oh, this person just got a brand new table, so I'm going to go buy a brand new table. Or they just bought a $8,000 table, so I've got to go and get an $8,000 table. It's unconscious. It's this tiny little message in your brain telling you that this is what you should do. That's wrong. You got to cut that shit out right now, because I'm telling you that is not your life. Now, if you can do this and it's not a problem, and you can live this expectation lifestyle and get away with it, that's fine. Do it by all means. Keep up with the Joneses. Someone's always going to have something better than you when it comes to just things, and the things are not important. I can tell you that right now. The things are not important. It's about you, who you are, what's best for you, and how you want to live your life. Your life. No one else's expectations. Not your parents, not your whoever brought you up, not your family, your friends especially, the people that you hang around with, your work colleagues, none of them. It is not their life to live. If they're unconsciously or consciously putting pressure on you to do things that you do not want to, or that you may want to do, or you may just go and do it because they did it, no, stop. You need to have some type of logical thought pattern of what is best for you. You've got to stop in your brain when you're having these conversations. You've got to stop and think, is this best for me? Should I do this? Is this person talking about their life or my life? Because most people only talk about themselves. They only talk about themselves and their experiences because that's all they have to work from. Right? Does that make sense? Everyone is running off their own baseline of what's happened to them in their lives. So when people are talking to you, most people, not all people, most people are just comparing it to their own experiences. And they may say, these people that you kind of want to stay away from, these many people will say, oh, well, like this is what happened to me, so this is what will happen to you. No, we all live different lives, okay? So you got to think about that. You're an individual. Your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, you're in control, not other people. Okay, so there's some things you should know. And the most important thing that you should know is when you're going from expectations to yourself is the transition from unconscious. And unconscious is just not even really thinking. It's just, I'm going to do this because this other person did this. And, oh, I really like that table, so I'm going to go buy a table. That's unconscious thinking, right? It's unconscious. You've got to start getting responsible and logical about your thoughts to a degree. Because you need to have some type of logic thought. Okay, so here's a couple of the cons. We'll start with the cons, and then we'll go to the pros of getting away from expectations. Cons. The transition from unconscious thinking to responsible thinking and logical thinking, it's very difficult. Why is it difficult? Because you'll start to realize when you get some clarity in your head of who you are and what you want, you will see the mistakes from the past that you made when you were unaware of what you were doing, and it will hurt. I can tell you that it will hurt. I know because I've been there, and I've hated myself for my decisions that I've made. And it took me months to years to fully comprehend that I've been unconscious for not most of my life, but a lot of my life. Unconscious about my choices, what I eat, what I drink, what I do, especially when I was younger and I was growing up and I was a teenager and I was just drinking because other people were drinking. I was just going to parties because other people were going to parties. Sometimes I was just playing sport because other people were playing sport. Sometimes like I wasn't thinking like what's best for me. And the only way to figure that out is to go and try a heap of shit, figure out what you actually like, not what other people like. I wasted so much time just following the leader, following someone else. And I don't regret it, all of it, but I do regret some of it because I wasted a lot of time when I could have been working on something that I wanted to do that would move me further down the field, right? Okay. So you got to remember that it's going to be a difficult transition. It will be difficult and it will hurt. But there's a positive at the end, and I can tell you that it's one of the most positive things you'll ever get in your whole life that will transform you. We'll get to that. Okay, so you need to let go of your past mistakes. When you start to see the unconscious decisions that you've been making from other people's expectations, you will realize that you will have to let go of your mistakes eventually. Okay, I made that mistake. I'm never doing that again. I've got to think for myself. You've got to learn from these mistakes, okay? All right. You have to let go. The transition takes time. It takes time. You can't really get around this because it's a whole different way of thinking. Your mind has got to expand and it's got to start building its own belief system that I can make decisions and be responsible. And that takes time. You can't really get past that. It could be a year, it could be 2 years, depending on how many regrets and mistakes that you've made that have hurt you and how deep they are. This could seriously take time. And that's normal. But every day you're getting closer. Okay. Sometimes you need to lose people out of your life. Sometimes. There are some people right now that are unconsciously affecting you in what you do. They may be close friends, they may be your family, they may be just acquaintances, they could be work colleagues, it could be anyone. But when you start thinking for yourself and start developing your own mindset and actually looking at you and who you are and who you want to be, you're going to have to lose the people that are not helping you or are unconsciously moving you. Because sometimes that's the only way. People don't change. It's very difficult for people to change, and this is the process of change. Okay, so you will need to lose people. The herd mentality of follow the leader, of they have something, so I'm going to get the same thing. They have a big house, so I'm going to get a big house. That's my expectation. This is where I was. And now for some reason, this is where I'm at. I've got to go back here as quickly as possible. This herd mentality, people can't see me in a bad situation. People don't want to see me upset. This type of stuff is rubbish. It is rubbish. It is the herd mentality, and this is what's trapping you. You need to be a realist. We'll talk about this later. You need to have a little bit of realist in you. You need to have a logical mind. You need to understand that you need to think things through logically, not emotionally, logically. Okay? Now, the other thing is, these are just a couple of direct points, is that what you were told growing up as a kid may not be applicable today. This world is a total different world to what it was 3, 4, 5, 6 years ago, 10, 20 years ago, right? Okay? The world is different. The world has changed. It's changing rapidly every single day. So what you've been told in the past or the experiences that have happened to you, they're probably not applicable today. Okay? The last one. You've got to take this to your heart and to your soul and think about this and drill it into you. The world. The world is trying to put you in a box every single day. Every day. Every time you get up in the morning, you walk outside, or you get on your phone even, the world is trying to put you in a box. When you talk to people, people are trying to put you in a box. Your job is trying to put you in a box. Why? Because they want to understand you. The world wants to understand you. And you don't have to be understood. The world is trying to tell you this is what you should and shouldn't do every day. And whether that's your friends, family, work colleagues, people, the phone, the news, television, media, no matter who or what it is, The worst places are trying to put you in a box, and you do not need to be in a box. You need to be free to make your decisions and your choices. Okay? So follow that. Remember that. Okay, let's get to the pros. Let's get onto the good stuff. Let's go. Okay. The best part about this, what you will find is once you understand that you are in control, you get that epiphany moment and go, whoa, 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 these decisions, this is not where I want to go, right? Okay. Then you understand. I'm in control. I can make these decisions for me. I can change my whole life in here with these small decisions that I make every single day. I can change my whole life, and it's me. I'm in control. Whew. And let me tell you, that is liberating. It is extremely liberating. You'll feel like a brand new person. You will literally be able to do things that you've never been able to do before. You will literally pop the top off that box and jump out and go, what can I do? How can I do it? What can I achieve? If there's no limits, and I'm the limit, not anyone else making unconscious decisions or pressuring me into doing things. Okay, you are in control. Quick little story. When this happened for me, I forced it on myself because I was like, hang on a minute, this isn't the life I want to live. I was in a financial situation where I just bought a house and I had to pay for this kind of by myself with some housemates, but I realized that I wasn't making enough money. I wasn't. I was just getting by every day, and I was like, this is not how I want to live. And then I started asking myself, why? Why? Why am I in this situation? And then I started reading some books. I started getting on YouTube. I started searching, and I found the answer. I'm living someone else's life, and it's just a life that I was told to do. I was unconsciously making decisions. Now, luckily, they weren't too bad of decisions, but they still weren't mine. So, what I started to do, I started to push myself. I said, well, what can I do? If I just said, fuck it, go do it. What can I do? So I said to myself, I'm going to run some Tough Mudders, like the endurance 20-kilometer races. I drove 5 hours to get to a place where it was being held, ran 20 kilometers on a cliff face, jumped through ice baths, went through tunnels, went up to my neck in water upside down. It was like a army type course. I ended up doing 2 or 3 of them because I was like, I can do this. And then I went, well, what else can I do? I booked myself in to jump out of a plane because I thought, well, if I can do that, I can do this. And then all of a sudden the lid come off and I was like, I've got to go. I've got to go and experience life and do everything. I can look after myself here. I can make my own decisions, my own choices, and I can just explode into this world. I went to Europe. I took some funds out, which I probably regret a little bit, but it had to be done because I was exploring me, finally. I went overseas. I took off overseas and went for 6 weeks and just explored me. The world was changing around me, but I was exploring me and cultures and people and just learning as much as I could about the world and how different things work because I could finally sense that I was in control of my life. This is what you will get. You might think you have this now, but maybe you don't. Okay. So, sorry, that was a little rant there, but I hope you get the idea here. It's hard to explain to an unconscious person. And I hope you guys are on the path or starting your path. Okay, so yeah, once you take responsibility for your life and responsibility for your past decisions, your whole life will start to change. I can guarantee that. Okay, the logical mind. The logical mind is what's required. And the best part about that is that it can be learnt. You can learn to be logical. All right? Emotions. I always say that 80% emotional decisions, 80% of emotional decisions are bad decisions. And that's just through my experiences, from what I've seen from myself, from my past, and also other people. I watch other people and look at the decisions they make. The emotional decisions are 80% wrong and will destroy you because you're not thinking clearly. You're muddled by emotions and you're making decisions with your heart. You need to make decisions logically with your head. Take your time, breathe, relax, think. My situation, your situation. Does that suit me? You got to do that. Okay. You need to become a portion of a realist. You need to be real. We're not living in fairy world right now. Okay. This world is real. I know school doesn't teach you that, and they think that everything's just going to be fine. You're going to get a basic job and go to university for 20 years and come out and get a job. That doesn't happen. You need to be a realist. A realist. The world is difficult. The world is tough. Nothing's easy in this world. And that's for a reason, because you got to prove what you're worth. And you got to get that expectation of that this is going to be difficult. This is not going to be easy, but you can do it because you're in control. Right. And the last thing, I'm going to cut it off right here. It is extremely liberating to know that you have the power. You. No one else. You're in control of your own life every single day. Every time you wake up in the morning, you are in control. And you can reshape your whole life with every decision that you make right now. So I hope this has helped you guys. I really do hope. This is something that I've learned over 20 years, and it's been tough. It has been tough to just comprehend all this and put it into action. It is not easy. You're going to be challenging yourself in ways that you never thought that you could. I have difficult conversations with people all day, and that is what makes me a stronger than average person. I'm not amazing. I'm not anything special, but it's just years of banging on difficult conversations, trying to sort problems and fix problems. It's a tough life to live, but you are in control and you want all the control you can get so you can be successful and you can have the best life that you wish. So I hope you guys found this a benefit. That was a bit of a rant. I apologize, but it is probably the most important video that you will see. And I hope you got something out of this. Please put it in the comments, any experiences, anything that's happened to you where you may have found some of this information valuable or beneficial for you. And good luck, everyone. I love you guys. Stay strong. Be yourself. Make your own decisions and live your best life. Cheers, guys. Take it easy.